my goodness, the Indiana Fever pulled it off. Defeated the Las Vegas Aces.
The Indiana Fever weren't supposed to survive this storm. The league's brightest star injured, a new villain in the headlines, and a head coach who finally lost her cool on national TV. Nobody could have predicted what happened next. On the court, chaos reigned. Technical fouls, controversial whistles, and an underdog squad that refused to fold. In the shadows, a forgotten player found her moment, torching every doubt and rewriting her story with 6 straight games of pure fire. The stakes? Playoff dreams, careers, and reputations all hanging by a thread. But as the pressure built and old narratives crumbled, the Fever delivered a shock that nobody saw coming.
For the first time maybe all season, Stephanie White really and truly showed a little emotion. My issue is, there's been so many other valid times to lose her shit. And this random game,
before the shot,
Stephanie White goes absolutely apeshit in this thing. She gets attacked. She says that's bullshit. Where has this fire been out of Stephanie White? I would love to understand.
Nobody saw this coming. Not the fans, not the announcers, not even the players themselves. The Indiana Fever's head coach, usually calm and collected, finally lost her cool in front of everyone. She exploded on the sideline, shouting at the refs and waving her arms, her voice booming over the court. For months, fans had wondered if the bench even cared, if there was any real passion behind all the losses and close games. But right then, in the heat of the moment, the coach let every bit of frustration pour out. The refs hit her with a technical foul. The crowd gasped, and players actually looked shocked by the outburst. But something wild happened. The team woke up. You could see the energy shift on the floor, as if everyone realized this was their turning point. Suddenly, the Fever looked alive, and everyone was left asking, what finally set her off? Could this be the moment that changes everything for the Fever moving forward?
A'ja Wilson, actually, let me see. She only had 6 free throw attempts tonight. I guess the refs got the memo. There was so much backlash after the last game where A'ja Wilson, I think, went to the damn free throw line. I don't know how many times. I swear it was 20 times. It was every other move. Beep, the fucking whistle went off, and A'ja Wilson's headed back to the line. It didn't matter tonight.
Lately, it's been impossible to miss all the arguing online about unfair calls for the league's biggest names. Well, something finally changed. The refs stopped handing out free trips to the foul line, even to the top stars. For the first time in a long time, every player had to earn their points. There were no easy calls, no automatic fouls just because of a big reputation. It was a major shift. Some players seemed lost, unsure how to play without their usual advantages. But for the rest, it felt like a fresh start, a real chance to compete. The games looked cleaner and more honest. Fans noticed right away. The WNBA finally looked fair again, not just for the stars, but for everyone. But now, with the game so even, the big question is, who's going to step up when there's nowhere to hide and every play matters?
At Heavens FX caught it. The stuff the WNBA ignores and then makes foul calls like this on Sophie Cunningham. It was ridiculous.
Second, take a look
here. At this. They going to call a foul on that. On that. What are we doing? The phantom touch? Is that what we're doing?
Of course, things didn't stay smooth for long. The refs, maybe trying too hard to be fair, started making some strange calls. One moment, they blew the whistle on what looked like barely any contact. A tiny tap gets called as a foul. But the next play, someone takes a huge hit and there's nothing. Both coaches were up yelling, the benches were confused, and fans in the arena and at home were shaking their heads. Every time the whistle blew, nobody was sure what it would be for. That made every single play feel tense, with players and coaches worried about what the refs might do next. It was clear, these unpredictable calls could easily change the outcome of the game. Everyone was holding their breath, wondering if the next whistle would decide everything.
They actually won the game. The Indiana Fever did win the game. Caitlin Clark was running on the court. Caitlin running on the court is kind of a promising sign that maybe her growing strength ain't as bad as everybody think it is. But at the end of the day, you just never know, man. Adrenaline is a hell of a thing, bro.
Even with all the chaos and confusion, the Indiana Fever somehow found a way to push through. The game felt out of control at times, but the team stuck together. Then, out of nowhere, Caitlin Clark, who had been sidelined, jumped up and sprinted down the court to join her teammates. The whole arena watched, holding their breath, hoping she was okay. That single burst of energy from their star gave the team and the fans a huge boost. For a moment, all the frustration and doubt melted away. The Fever looked like they believed in themselves again. But even as hope returned, nobody really knew if this was just a temporary high or the start of something big. Was this a one-time spark, or could it be the beginning of a true turnaround for the whole season?
I gotta say, all those people that wanted to talk about Sophie Cunningham being this awful basketball player, and she's had 15 points today. Like, she had 15 points on 5 shots. After 15 points on 8 shots, and 12 on 12, which isn't ideal, and 11 points on 6 shots. Like, Sophie Cunningham is on a streak of a 6-game, double-digit, ridiculously efficient streak.
All year long, critics and even some fans have trashed Sophie Cunningham, saying she wasn't good enough and didn't belong on the roster. People said she was a wasted draft pick, a bad fit, or just a weak link. But when it mattered most, she completely flipped the script. Suddenly, she caught fire, scoring double digits in 6 straight games and barely missing a shot. All those bad player rumors disappeared. Now, even the biggest haters were forced to admit they'd been wrong. Cunningham's hot streak forced people to rethink what she could do. The talk turned from doubt to real respect, both from her team and across the league. The question now is, do the other teams finally realize the Fever have a brand new weapon to worry about?
And by the way, her defense today was fantastic. I know it doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but like Sophie Cunningham's switchability, what she did to point fraud today, might violate the Geneva Convention, may have violated the Geneva Convention. What she did to point fraud. Like, she played the best defense I have ever seen from a Fever player.
But tonight wasn't just about scoring points. Sophie Cunningham put on a defensive show that left everyone stunned. She was everywhere, blocking shots, jumping passing lanes, and making the league's best scorers look lost. The TV commentators kept laughing and shaking their heads, saying her defense was so good it felt almost unfair. Cunningham hustled after every ball, never gave up on a play, and made life miserable for whoever she was guarding. With each possession, she set the tone, showing the team how to defend with heart and hustle. Now coaches and fans are wondering, has Indiana finally found the secret to stopping the WNBA's best scorers, not just for this game, but maybe for every game to come?
In a lot of ways, it's kind of pushed Lexi out, but Lexi Hull, there's a very clear difference between Lexi Hull with Caitlin and Lexi Hull without Caitlin. They're two different players. But Lexi Hull, in her defense, even when the shot's not falling, Lexi gives 1,000,000% effort. She's there grabbing boards. Lexi's there doing everything. So I'm not out here. I'm not going to, by any means, be out here insulting Lexi Hull. We're not doing that.
Cunningham rise isn't just getting attention from fans, it's also forcing the coaches to make some tough decisions about playing time and who should be on the floor when it matters most. Some players who used to be stars now have to fight just to get minutes. Nobody is saying they don't work hard. Lots of Fever players hustle, rebound, and give 100%. But as roles change and the team's chemistry gets shaken up, everyone has to earn their spot all over again. The rotation is getting tighter and every single possession counts. The big question, can this newly mixed-up lineup stay strong and connected as they chase a playoff berth? Or will all these changes mess with the team's chemistry?
Kelsey tonight, not the most efficient night, but still an impactful night, and especially in that fourth quarter. Is there any kind of message you need to say to her? Anything that we still need you to keep shooting and keep going or anything like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just telling her, like, let it fly. It's going to go. And then helping her recalibrate when she's attacking the rim and just staying on balance.
Missed shots usually make a coach mad, but this time was different. Whenever someone missed, instead of getting chewed out, the player got encouragement. Keep shooting, trust yourself, don't stop. Even when shooters went cold or made mistakes, the faith from the coach never wavered. Then, just when the Fever needed it most, those players stepped up and hit big shots down the stretch. That trust, the belief between the coach and the players, turned out to be their secret weapon. It's created a new kind of confidence and teamwork, helping the Fever win tight games.
Sophie Cunningham right here. Third quarter. Let's go.
Vegas has done a nice job coming on.
All right. The little handoff. Over to Sophie. Boom. Way downtown.
The energy inside the arena hit a whole new level in the third quarter. That's when the Fever's sharpshooter, Sophie Cunningham, stepped up, buried a deep three-pointer, and the place absolutely erupted. It wasn't just any shot. It was a clutch moment with everything on the line. Fans went wild, jumping out of their seats, and you could see the momentum swing in an instant. With every basket, the pressure kept building. The Aces didn't back down, pushing even harder, but it was shots like these that reminded everyone, Indiana isn't done yet. These moments matter because they prove the Fever have real fight left in them. But now everyone's wondering, can this new spark of energy and confidence last through the rest of the game, especially as the Aces make their run?
And Ari McDonald is going to knock down the game winner, the dagger, the one that clinched it right here. Way downtown, boom. Knocked it down right there.
With the score still close, everything came down to one last shot. Ari McDonald pulled up and drained a cold-blooded three, sealing the win and breaking the hearts of the defending champions. Fans lost their minds as the ball swished through the net. Teammates jumped and hugged, celebrating one of the most dramatic upsets of the season. But it wasn't just a win. It sent a clear message to every other team in the league. The Fever are no joke anymore.
But our defense can't be dictated by our offense. It has to be the other way around. We had some lapses in the first quarter. We had some lapses into the second, and we can't have those. We've got to maintain elite execution on both ends. I thought the second half the ball moved better.
Right after the emotional win, the coach wasted no time raising the standards. Nobody got to relax, not even for a second. She told the team, no more lazy possessions, no more sloppy plays, and don't let up on defense. She pushed for focus, hard work, and discipline on every play. The Fever responded, showing they could hit that next level. It wasn't just about winning, it was about proving they could play at an elite standard and keep getting better. But now, the real test is coming. Will this level of focus and discipline last, especially when the pressure is back on and every game matters more?
Also, we played some heavy minutes tonight, and the challenge is, if you're tired, you got to ask for a sub. Right, if you're tired, you got to ask for this. And then our bench has to be ready. I felt like our bench in the second half was really good defensively. In the first half, I didn't feel that way. You got to be ready to come in, and you got to be ready to guard your matchup and execute the game plan. We have depth for a reason. We've got quality depth, and we've got to be able to use it. So if fatigue is a factor in execution, then they just need to ask for a sub, and I'll get them out and get them back in.
As the season drags on, you can really see how much the players are feeling the grind. They're tired, sore, and sometimes just plain out of gas. But that's when Stephanie White steps up and makes it clear. If you're exhausted, it's okay. Just say so, and the bench will jump in to help. That's the secret weapon for this team. Real depth. No one is forced to play through exhaustion or pretend they're okay when they're not. The bench players are always ready, keeping the energy high no matter who's on the court. Every substitution could be the difference between winning and losing, especially when things get tense at the end. It makes you wonder, can Indiana's deep bench keep making those big plays and keep the dream of a playoff run alive when the games matter most?
Still very tough at times to watch this offense, if you want to call it that. It's still too slow for my liking. I like to see them get up and run the damn court. Run, run, run.
Right now, every game is a massive deal for the Fever. The playoff race is so tight that a single win or loss could change everything for the whole season. Fans are on edge, waiting and hoping for good news about the team's missing superstar. All the team can do is keep fighting for wins, stay focused, and hope the pieces fall into place by the end. The tension is building every day, and it feels like the whole season could turn on one shot, one play, or even one referee's call.
I think the Indiana Fever have figured out some of their role players. The Indiana Fever, they're so close. They are so close to being good when it comes to next year.
For the first time in a long time, things feel different for Indiana. There's finally a plan everyone can see. Keep building around the best players, especially Sophie, who has proven she's absolutely essential to this team. She can play defense, hit shots, bring energy, and fits perfectly in every lineup. She's a player you just can't let go if you want to win championships. The rest of the league is taking notice too. With a few smart changes, maybe adding one more scorer or a solid rebounder, the Fever could go from playoff hopefuls to true title contenders. Fans, coaches, and even other teams are watching, wondering if this is the year Indiana finally puts it all together. The blueprint is there, the energy is back, and if they finish building the right team around their stars, the Fever might just shock everyone and turn all this hope into something real.